Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Okay, so Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, WBC and Ring Magazine heavyweight champion of the world. And for those of you who have any kind of stock into lineal, then he's a lineal heavyweight champion of the world. Also, anyway, he did a press conference with BT Sport alongside Frank Warren, and he outlined his next 5 fights. Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte, Joshua twice, and then Derek Chisora for a 3rd time. So that's 5 fights. Okay. Now, whether or not he fights Wilder on October the 9th, who knows, who cares? But I'm pretty sure some Wilder fanatics out there, the Wildettes, the Twerk Army, will be making some kind of videos because Tyson Fury got himself confused and said that he's fighting Wilder in November. See, he's already planning on ducking Wilder. He let slip that it's going to be November. Watch these videos come out. Watch them. Watch it. But there again, maybe they're right. Who knows? But anyway, he then said Dillian Whyte. So that's the one that I want to talk about. He said, Dillian Whyte, that fight has to happen. I want that fight to happen. He's easy work. I look forward to smashing him up or worse of that kind of effect, as long as Dillian Whyte doesn't price himself out. Well, if Dillian Whyte is mandatory, which WBC need to get their fingers out of their backside at that point, and if he's mandatory, he can't price himself out, can he? Because it'd be an ordered fight, firstly, and secondly, 75% Tyson Fury, the champion, 25% mandatory challenger, i.e. Dillian Whyte. And if you can't agree, what's going to happen then? We'll go to purse bid, won't it? What does that mean? Tyson, you could be fighting Dillian Whyte on DAZN if Eddie Hearn wins that purse bid. So there's that part. Now, Frank Warren then chirped in and said, well, it wouldn't be the first time that Dillian Whyte's turned down a world title fight by pricing himself out. Tyson Fury went, oh, it was about 5 million, weren't it? Frank Warren was about to continue with it. Tyson Fury cut him off because he knew where Frank Warren was about to go, as in because Frank Warren is very bitter. Because once upon a time, Frank Warren said that he'd love to sign up Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte told him to jog on. So now he's quite bitter about Dillian Whyte. But Tyson Fury cuts him off, said, we're not here to slag anybody off or put anybody down. Again, words to that effect. But here's the thing. So 5 million because Dillian Whyte turned down Anthony Joshua. That's what they're getting at. Now, I've interviewed Dillian Whyte many, many times, and on one of those, which will pop up at the end of this particular video, will be where Dillian Whyte addresses why he turned down the Anthony Joshua fight. Okay? But we're going to get into that as this video goes along as well, so make sure you go watch that video at the end of this one. But one thing I've got to say to Frank Warren is, why didn't you say something about when Tyson Fury said about 5 million, weren't it? Why didn't you say, well, you turned down Anthony Joshua for 40%, once upon a time, and more recently you turned down a fight with a guarantee 75 million going up to what they believe will be about $100 million. So 5 million to not fight Joshua or 100 million to not fight Joshua. What do you consider the bigger duck? Especially as Fury's fight would have been for Undisputed. And don't be telling me that Dillian Whyte is worth 5 million against Anthony Joshua. He only brings 5 million value to that fight, when every other opponent that Joshua fights gets way more than that. And at Wembley Stadium in front of 90,000 people in a rematch, you're telling me that Tyson Fury is worth 100 million, but yet Dillian Whyte's only worth 5 million. You're telling me Tyson Fury is worth 20 times more than Dillian Whyte. If you do, then you are a fanatic Tyson Fury fan. They hate when I call them fanatics. Why do they hate it? Because they know it's true. They hate it. They hate it. They really hate it. I love Tyson Fury and his hairy chest. Now, so Frank, why didn't you say that? Also, why didn't you say that Tyson Fury also turned down Dillian Whyte when the WBC ordered Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury for the WBC mandatory position? Tyson Fury said, no, don't want that unless the WBC Diamond Belt's going to be on the line. WBC said, okay. And he still walked away. So who's really ducked who? The receipts are there. I know some Fury fanatics are like, what? Well, Tyson Fury is beat Derek Chisora twice already, so that means that Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora, they're very much the same, they're very much alike. What do you think he'll do to Dillian Whyte? It's easy, nice work for him. Morons, stop watching boxing. If you think that Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora are similar outside of their skin tone, then you are not really a box fan. You don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what you're looking at. I'm sorry, but you don't. Go watch some fishing or something, okay? But anyway, that is what it is. So, not only did Tyson Fury turn down a Dillian Whyte fight, but the WBC, get this one, took the mandatory position off Dillian Whyte because of the UCAD situation while he's under investigation. Even though Dillian Whyte passed WBC protocol of VADA, by the way, and gave Tyson Fury the mandatory position, even though he'd already agreed to fight Wilder anyway and already signed a contract. The date was already set. But they decided to take the mandatory position off Dillian Whyte and give it to Tyson Fury. Who did that? Charlie Giles did that. So my question to Charlie Giles, oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know who Charlie Giles is, well, Charlie Giles, who petitioned for Fury to replace Dillian Whyte as WBC mandatory, Charlie Giles is on the WBC committee. Charlie Giles is also the British Boxing Board of Control chairman. What's the British Boxing Board of Control chairman got to do with that? Well, Dillian Whyte had an adverse finding with UKAD, if you remember. Who has a very good, strong relationship with UKAD? The British Boxing Board of Control, and its chairman in Charlie Giles. So my question for Charlie Giles is not an accusation, of course. It's a question. Did you and UKAD conspire together to have Dillian Whyte fail a UKAD test? Did you sabotage Dillian Whyte, is my question to Charlie Giles. Because if you're the British Boxing Board of Control chairman, you're working very, very closely with UKAD, therefore you knew more about this case than anybody else on the planet, and you're also part of the WBC committee. But why would he do that, you may ask? Well, because WBC wanted Fury and Wilder to fight again. Dillian Whyte being mandatory in that position got right in the way of it. They didn't like that, did they? So my question to Charlie Giles, I say it's not an accusation. Charlie Giles could be totally innocent, and maybe he petitioned for Dillian Whyte and stood in his corner for all I know. But my question for him is, did you or do you know anybody who has potentially sabotaged Dillian Whyte with that whole UKAD situation just because the WBC wanted Fury and Wilder to get it on again? That's my question for you, Charlie. As I said, not an accusation. It's my question for you. I want to know. I want to know that answer. I've emailed him. His secretary said, no, we're not going to do an interview with these sporting icons. We're not going to do it. Why is that then? Who knows? So anyway, back on to it. Is Tyson Fury going to fight Dillian Whyte? I'd like to think so. I know a lot of people say, but shouldn't we have Fury versus Anthony Joshua? That should be the fight that happens next. Yada, yada, yada. Well, he doesn't want Anthony Joshua next. He wants Dillian Whyte next, according to Tyson Fury. And as Frank Warren said, any fight with Anthony Joshua probably won't happen until March or April time anyway. Maybe in Saudi Arabia. And then he can have a fight with Anthony Joshua a bit later at Wembley Stadium. But a fight between him and Dillian Whyte in a stadium, a homecoming. Frank Warren mentioned about Cardiff with a roof, but also Tyson Fury said that a fight up north. Good. Bring it to Newcastle, Tyson, because I want to ask some questions. I've got a whole bunch of questions for you, my man. I really do. Nothing bad, nothing that you should feel that you should avoid me for. Nothing that you feel your team should contact me and ask me for some money to interview you. Like that's happened before, correct? Let's not go down that route, but bring it up to Newcastle. Bring it up, because I do have some questions for you. I really do. Got an issue? You can find me quite easily, Tyson. I'm all around social media, Instagram, Twitter, here on YouTube. Hit me up. My email's out there as well, okay? Anyway, my thoughts. You drop me yours. Will Tyson Fury fight Dillian Whyte? Should he get past Deontay Wilder on October the 9th? For me, as long as Tyson Fury's got a hole in his backside, no. No. Okay? So, again, would he even fight Anthony Joshua? Well, when you've turned down 100 million, when you could have walked away, when you could have paid Wilder some step-aside money but didn't, who are you to throw stones from your glass house, right? Again, sorry Fury fanatics, but I really don't care about your feelings. I care about the truth. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.